NRG are your first North American winter split champions. Hey guys, what's up? It's Connor here, and welcome back to another video. So as you saw from the intro, today we are going to be talking about the first North American winter split. So, what should I go over first? Well, I mean, as you heard, NRG won the winter split, but first things first, I think we should go over what path they took to get there and a basic overview on what's to come and upcoming teams, and then we'll look at trade. We'll look at the trade window and stuff, what happened over there, and how that how that has affected this split. Like, for example, complexity, they didn't make it far. Space Station, they made it all the way through, but I'll talk about that later. Anyways, let's go live. Yes, this is correct. This is correct. Here we go. So, first things first. Oh, that's weird. Okay. Oh, maybe I need to update it. Whoops. There we go. That should work. There we go. First things first, we look at energy. Friday, the first day of the group stage. Oh, that's Vibrance, not energy. Whoops. Energy took it 3-0, beating RBG 3-2, beating Vibrance 3-1, and beating XET 3-2 to help eliminate them. And then we go to the bracket. Let's go say NRG sweep Oxygen Esports, which surprisingly enough, actually, which in a surprising turn of events, actually managed to come first in their group, though they didn't make it too far as they ran into two super hot teams. So NRG 4-0'd Oxygen, and then moved on to 4-3 FaZe Clan, which was also a close match, and then what was it? And the NRG ran into the steaming hot Space Station. Space Station making it all the way through the bracket. And all the way through the bracket only to beat NRG. Or only to lose to NRG. And get beaten. Anyways, so let's go see, what was it? It was pre-game on, let's go see, NRG had dominant leads. They went through the whole thing. They played extremely well. They outplayed all of these teams. All of these teams, although FaZe Clan, that series could have gone either way, and I mean, what was it? Garrett in the pre-game interview, he was talking about how NRG had a rough week in scrims, and they were unsure if they would they were unsure how well they would do in the regional, but anyways, so that's NRG. NRG did extremely well. I mean, he was also talking about how there is definitely competition for the top spots in the major. If you go and look at all the winner rankings on Wikipedia, you can see it's a tight race between many teams. I mean, NRG at this point, I don't know what to say. There's just no one that can stop them. They are just unstoppable at this point. I mean, they've had close series. I was watching the NRG RBG series. I was watching the NRG RBG series. RBG took the first two games, looking possibly for a sweep, but NRG came back. NRG came back to beat him 3-2, and that's the thing about NRG. They are very good at closing out series. I mean, yeah, RBG came third in the group stage, 1 and 2. They lost to NRG, 3-0'd XET, and then got 3-2'd by Vibrance. But XET was swapped. XET didn't do very well. And I mean, Now, I mean, what was it? Let's talk about some of the roster changes. So some of the big roster moves, some of the big moves that happened over the course of the trade window. I've already sort of gone over these, but Daniel being picked up by Space Station and Space Station dropping Typical to FaZe Clan. Reynolds actually released a video as of today, January 17th, which is the day of the recording of the video. I hope to get it uploaded by the end of today, but I don't know if that's going to happen or not. Anyways, yeah, so a couple important roster moves. You have Space I mean, let's talk about Space Station for a bit. I mean, Space Station picking up Daniel, blasting their way through the lower bracket 3-1, 3-0, 4-1, 4-0, 4-2, and then only to lose to NRG. But they are definitely a team to be reckoned with, and if we look at the points ranking, they are in contention for the major FaZe Clan. FaZe Clan doing okay, but no other teams are able to beat them except NRG and Space Station at this point. I mean, with Space Station with their new roster, I mean, we have some other roster moves. I mean, you look at what is it, the Sonics? They dropped Roldiz, I believe. I think that was at the very beginning of the trade window. You go back up here. Oh yeah, and then you got Shopify Rebellion. They picked up Parth. Parth looked pretty good. And they got the whole Atomic Drees situation and Gimmick being dropped from V1 being picked up on Oxygen. Krasik's being dropped. Kronovi retired. Kronovi, or no, yeah, Kronovi retiring. He's in there. Krasik's being dropped. Beast Mode being picked up by version 1. There were rumors that he was going to start a team with Cloud9, actually, which most of you should know who there is. They had, and then Illusion being retired. I guess retiring as a player. I don't know. Well, he dropped off FaZe Clan and went to Envy as the coach, and then Typical being dropped off Space Station and Daniel. And I mean, the thing is, Typical, what was it? They just weren't feeling it in the winter split. They didn't do well enough. And just a quick reminder, yeah. So, anyways, we look at some of the other trades. I mean, Sonics they dropped Roldiz. They finished third in their group. They didn't do too well. Vibrance, they did okay. Got beat 3-2 by G2. That was a close match. Complexity getting 3-0'd by G2. They managed to beat Rogue, who dropped Taranturo. So just roster changes all over the board. I mean, if you look at Oxygen, what surprised me was Envy. They didn't. Who do they have? Envy didn't do very well. Let me double check their roster real quick. Envy missed terrible. Yeah, they picked up Drees and then they dropped Atomic. And then G2 picked up Atomic, and then G2. I think it was a trade. Yeah, Atomic went to Envy and Drees. Or no, Atomic went to G2 and Drees went to Envy. So a couple roster changes. That one didn't appear to work for Envy as they did not do well in the group set, getting 3-2'd by Oxygen. Oxygen beating Complexity and then getting 3. Yeah, and let's talk about Oxygen. Who did they pick up? Give me a second. Oxygen coming first in their group stage. Toasty LG, they picked up Gimmick. And Gimmick, watching the series when NRG for them, Gimmick was definitely an important piece because it definitely could have been like the first game. 3-0. No, it was the second game. Or no, I don't know. I thought they scored. Yeah, no, it was the last game. It was the last game in the series. I thought maybe they were gonna possibly pull off a reverse sweep because they looked good, but NRG looked better, and they took a 2-goal lead, but NRG came back to score a 3 in quick succession and promptly 4-0'd them. And then FaZe Clan, they did okay. They lost to Energy again, lost to the blazing hot Space Station, who picked up probably what I would call at this point the Rookie of the Year, Daniel, who has so far done amazing for them. I mean, they made it. This is probably the best. I mean, Energy. You look at Energy; they didn't even touch the roster, and they're still dominating. I mean, Space Station. They've always been in major contention. And just a reminder, all these well, I guess you could say the points from last split have been erased. So the points from last split don't matter. In order to qualify for the winter major, it's all about winner points. So at this point, Garrett was what was it? The post game interview yesterday on RLCS. Garrett was talking about Garrett was talking about how what is it? Make it to 2 grand finals, win or lose, and you make it to the major. I mean, looking at this point, 411, they have, and they're guaranteed 60 points at the next major. Or 60 points at the next major, and chances are they'll probably get more. So, and then Oxygen, they'll still have to go through closed qualifiers. Ghost Gaming, they're doing pretty good. Anyways, as you was gonna say, version 1. What did they pick up? They picked up Beast Mode. And they looked okay. They finished first in their group, although it was tight matches between them and Shopify Rebellion. G2 Esports managed to put Ghost Gaming out. It was also extremely close between them. FaZe Clan, they got first in their group. Space Station finishing second, having to go through that whole lower bracket having to go through the whole lower bracket playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 series, or 5 series to make it to the grand finals. 2 of those being best of 5s and 3 of those being best of 7, and they crushed it. They took the assignment and they did extremely well. But it shows you the importance of coming first in your group. I mean, you look at Oxygen, and I mean Oxygen that could have very easily been Space Station if they had done better if Space Station had Space Station 3-0'd Rogue, 3-0'd Torrent, and then lost 3-2 to FaZe. If FaZe hadn't been on that hot streaks, SSG could have very easily been first in their group, and they could have beaten Energy right on the spot. But that's not the way it goes. That's not the way it went. Anyways, so as you can see, it's very important to come first in your group, and I'm curious to see who. Now I want to talk about major contention teams that are definitely in the contention for the major. Version 1. I mean, as you can see, you got the top 5: Energy, Space Station, FaZe Clan, V1, G2. Although Complexity, Oxygen, these 6, 7, 8, and 9, they are all extremely close. Envy not doing too well this major, or this regional, my bad. Not doing too well this regional, but they're very capable of qualifying for the major, as you can see. I mean, 2. I don't know how that works, but 11. Yeah, so that doesn't make any sense. Oxygen and Shopify got more points than those 2, but those are. It could be like It could be like win-loss game record. Anyways, yeah, it's because I don't know how well Xset's gonna do. I mean, at this point, I think it's gonna be roster. I mean, but roster complexity, they're definitely in the contention. Pretty sure G2, they're just off G2 by 20, 30, 40, 50, by 30 points. So that's definitely going to be a close. And then, I mean, at this point, Energy, they make it to quarterfinals, grand finals. How many points are they going to need for the major? I think it's probably 500 points. So if they get if they get 300 points at the next, they get 300 points at the next major. They're putting themselves in an excellent spot. But I mean, Space Station, FaceClan, any of these teams could pop off at any moment. I mean, what is it? All the top five. No, what is it? Second, third, fourth, and fifth. All the second, fourth, fifth, and teams. All the teams below NRG, except maybe Complexity, Oxygen, except for a few, have had roster changes. Rogue, they dropped. I believe they dropped Turinturo. I'd have to double check that. They dropped Turinturo. Yeah, they dropped Turinturo and then picked up Aqua, but they didn't do very well in group stage, and they didn't do the best in the. Yeah, they didn't do well at all, losing to Complexity. Complexity I think they had an off day. I mean, they managed to beat Rogue, but then G2 just laid the hammer down on them, and I mean, G2 didn't make it past version 1, although that series was close. Although I was a bit disappointed. I casted the NRG and Oxygen Esports match, and I was hoping Oxygen would have would be more competitive. I thought maybe they wouldn't drop nearly as easily as they did, but it's just the way the dice rolls. Anyways, that's it for this one. I mean, I guess energy at this point, I don't know. There's got to be some point. There's got to be some team other than like BDS that comes in and beat them. And I mean, what is it? Garrett, he was talking about yesterday. Was it grand finals? It was like you know how you do like the player caster interviews. Rats. Can't remember what it's called. Post game interview. That's what it was. They did post game interview, and he was talking how like NRG they had a rough week. They had a rough week and can't speak. Rough week of scrims. Rough week of scrims, and I mean it shows you that there are teams that are capable of beating NRG. It's just the position, it's the pressure. They have so much experience in those situations. I mean, Oxygen coming first in their group, they didn't stand a chance against NRG. I mean, they did well. I thought they did well, but I thought they looked a lot slower than they did in the group stage. Or I thought they looked a lot slower in the elimination bracket than they did in the double elim bracket than they did in the group stage. So I don't know. I mean, it shows you the importance of group stage. I mean, yeah, I already said that. Anyways, I think I'm gonna wrap this one up. I mean, who knows? Someone's got to beat NRG at some point. I mean, other than BDS. I mean, BDS who knows what they're gonna do. That's happening next weekend. So I'm hoping to get that video filmed and uploaded, like prediction, RLCS prediction or European predictions for this weekend. So, anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching. You should be able to join me on Saturday. I might be able to live stream the elimination bracket. I mean, I got school on Friday, and there's been a massive snowstorm that just hit us, so I don't know. Canadian weather's unpredictable. I mean, yeah, I don't know what much, if we're gonna have anything to do around. What is it? Because it starts at 1 o'clock European time, but it starts. Actually, I don't know when it starts. It usually starts around 11 o'clock when it comes to European Rocket League. At least it did last year, but I don't know. I missed the entire fall split except for the fall major. So, anyways, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, so you never miss another moment of RLCS. Goodbye.